Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic, and welcome back to the One Man Low Council. How is everyone doing this evening? Over on D-Live, we've got Kim Can Park, who just simply has to say, Odin, what's going on, Kim Can Park? We've got a bunch of people over at YouTube. What's going on? Grandmaster Yoda, Rosetta Allen, Robert Frey, Blake Hemlow's here. Grandmaster Yoda. Stream Elements is here as well. Soul Assassin Stevie J Reviews. Alan Sparks is here. Mirror Jeremy's here as well. We got Grey Troll here. Captain Asshat is here as well. He says, Odin, I wanted to thank you for this weekend. I had so much breakfast. Now I got diabetes. You are welcome, good sir. You are welcome. I hope you enjoyed your stack of pancakes, your waffle, bacon, eggs, and grits, because they're just so good. Jeremy Swig says, are you feeling all right? I am feeling okay. I am just pretty pissed off, actually, and kind of sad. If you were following me on Twitter, you know how I'm feeling towards everything that happened with Amazon recently, where I had an Amazon affiliate account and then they canceled that account because apparently I wasn't following the terms and conditions, but the things that they said I wasn't following didn't make any damn sense. It was really stupid. And then I just found out that someone that I thought I was still friends with, that I thought we were still on equal terms with, I just found out that someone has blocked me on Twitter. Someone that the last time I interacted with this person was on a video they posted where it was a picture, or rather it was a video of their dog, and I said, oh, such a good puppy. And it was cute and adorable. I've never had any issues with this person, but guess what? You block me on Twitter. You do those types of things for me, and you side yourself with crazy people. I'm going to call you out. But let's go ahead and let's keep things tempered for a little bit. Jeremy Swigs. But yeah, I'm feeling okay, man. Super Anime Gamer says, what is up, my dude? What is going on, Super? How is it going? How are you doing? Rosetta Allen says, over 800 miles traveled in the rain today, almost home. Ooh, well, glad that you're almost home. Please travel safely. Alex Martinez is here. Hyperin X13 is here as well. Teresa Martin's here. What's going on, Teresa Martin? Elric Hayuga is in the chat as well. How's it going? How is it going? Let's see. We got Alex McCarthy says, howdy, Odin. How are you? So Pyro's back on Raw. Where's the Pyro for here? Man, if I had the budget for Pyro and it was safe to do it inside, I would totally do that. But hey, cannot do that just now. I'm seeing some names in the chat I have not seen in months. Matt Tueen. Ahoy, ahoy. What's going on, Matt Tueen? Cobra Kaiser Soze. Cobra Kaiser Soze. Where have you been, man? I haven't seen that name in a very long time. He says, it's thrilling to be back. Pray the rosary. Amen to that, good sir. Amen to that. Tina says, Norwegian Encore making her conveyance from Germany to the open seas for her trials. Much bigger news than anything Star Wars related. That's my ship for February. Boom, Tina. Tina's getting very excited for her cruise coming up. Very, very exciting. We got some celebrations going on over on D-Live right now. So Captain Darkstar57 is celebrating a 2-month sub streak over on D-Live. Well, thank you very much, Captain Darkstar57, for being a 2-month sub. Thank you so much for resubbing up. I appreciate it, man. Kim Cam Park, thank you for the ice cream donation. And Captain Dean Heiss, thank you for the 1-month subscription. Appreciate it, Captain Dean Heiss. Hope you're doing just fine. And yeah, he just subscribed, so thank you, Captain Dean Heiss. Thank you. What is going on? D-Live fam. Captain Asshat says, but is a pancake a sandwich? Asking the real questions here. These are the real questions, right? These are the most important questions of our time. And can you make a pancake into a sandwich? I would say not a sandwich, but you could roll it up, theoretically, right? Into a taco-esque item, a breakfast taco made out of a pancake. Now that to me sounds like a damn good time. That sounds like a damn good time at the breakfast table. Let me tell you this right now. Alex Martinez says, I thank you for the 4K Rambo First Blood. I enjoy seeing Sylvester Stallone ramble on for 90 minutes at a time. No problem, Alex Martinez. So glad you got that in. For those who don't know, Alex Martinez was a winner of a 4K edition of the original Rambo film. So glad that you got that in. I saw that the Blu-rays that I've sent out the last couple weeks are finally starting to arrive. So glad to hear all of those things. Laura says, it wasn't me this time. I love, yes, so no blocking. Thank you, Laura. Yeah, it's definitely not Laura. No. I mean, whenever Laura blocks me or gets off Twitter, it's because probably I've done something that's worthy of being pissed off at. I've done some stupid things. Laura can point those out in the chat. So it's usually always legitimate whenever that happens. But no, this person that I'm talking about here blocked me for no reason whatsoever, unless it's her simply taking sides with a crazy person, in which case the things that she's trying to fight against, which I was having her back on, apparently they turn out to be true. Sith Kryptonian coming in with a $2 super chat says, why are there only 21 likes? Come on, people. Hey, Sith Kryptonian, calling you out. Thank you, Sith. Great YouTuber right there. Great guy. No matter what some crazy people try and say. But I will say it seems like they've calmed down a little bit and they want to try and back off, hopefully. But if they rile back up again, I got your back, Sith, because at the end of the day, Sith did nothing wrong. Tina says, oh, I know who you speak of, and it's sad. It's extremely sad. It's extremely sad. I had no beef with her at all. I was very supportive of her channel because I thought she was great. I still think that she's a talented YouTuber. I really do. It's just really sad that she's aligning herself with some downright crazy people. The Mad Maxes of the world, you know? It's really sad. It is really sad. Captain Asshat says, Odin, I would block you on Twitter if I had Twitter. Well, it's better to stay off, man, because Twitter can be a very toxic place sometime. It's Rap Production says, someone blocked you on Twitter, my lord. How dare they? Well, I mean, everyone's mass blocking everyone these days, but this was someone that, as I said before, I consider to be a friend. I did streams with this person. I remember bringing this person onto the channel. She was awesome. And I remember, too, doing a monthly stream, or we were trying to do a monthly stream with her and a couple other people. And then it fell kind of behind because of the time differences in all the different areas, but I was still wanting to do that, right? I was there. If she ever had anything that she wanted or needed, hey, I'm boom, right there. But no, instead, I'm going to block you. You know, because it first started where she unfollowed me. And then she said the reasoning why was because I wasn't messaging her and I wasn't commenting on her videos. So that was kind of a flag for me. I was like, wait a minute. I don't comment on a lot of people's videos. I very rarely comment. You realize that I work a full-time job. I do YouTube for fun. I'm on Twitter more often than I am anything else. So plus I have a wife, 2 dogs, and now I've got a Nintendo Switch. So there's a lot of things going on. And I don't have time for everything. I try to make time for as much as I possibly can. But I was like trying to explain to her saying, hey, look, I'm still friends with people like my boy Lethal Lightning. I rarely talk to him, even though whenever he needs anything, all he needs to do is message me. I've got his back because I love my boy Lethal. Sith Kryptonian. I don't talk to Sith Kryptonian every single day, but all of a sudden, all the stuff started going down. I have his back because I support good people. I support good people that I believe in, right? And I was fully supportive of her. I was willing to have her back, but no, she instead to go down a crazy route and then randomly blocks me on Twitter for no reason. The only thing I can think of is that it's because she's aligning herself with some really bad, crazy people. It's not good. Mayor Jeremy says, in all the news with Amazon, Home Alone, and The Old Friend, but what was that church stuff you were retweeting this morning? Oh, so for those that don't know, right now there's an Amazonian sit-in going on or about to happen in Rome. And it's causing a lot of uproar because there are certain documents floating around that seem to leave open the possibility of married priests, which might not seem like a big deal, but if you're a Catholic and a traditional Catholic at that, that's kind of red flags going off. Also, the potentiality of having women priests, which again, if you're a Catholic, you understand, red flags going off. And even if you're not a Catholic, I think that you could step aside and say, no, that's how the church has been forever, and there's reasons why. I may not agree with it, but you don't just randomly change things because you want to expand the church, right? That's not a solution to a problem. That's an agenda being pushed through. So that's pretty much what I was about. If you want to hear more about that, Mayor Jeremy, I would wait for a open forum stream or DM me on Twitter. HyberX13 says, I wanted to ask from that scrumptious last stream, have you ever heard of Nestle Milo? Not sure if it's available here in the U.S., but it tastes really good. No, I've never even heard of it, but it sounds absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious, man. Captain Darkstar says, got my John Wick 3 4K. My wife said I have to wait to watch it until she gets back from her business trip. Damn, Captain Darkstar. I am so sorry to hear that, man. Oh, that's going to be so hard. You're going to be staring at that 4K thinking, I just want to watch it. I just want to watch it. Glad that you got it in, though, man. And Captain Dean Heiss says, I'm glad the wife and dogs were mentioned before the Switch. Absolutely, Captain Dean Heiss. If I had mentioned the Switch before them, that's when I would have wanted to be called out. Sip Gratonian, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, Odin, what is it with seemingly cool people turning dark side on us? It must be our beards. Too much masculinity. It must be. It's got to be that. I think it's jealousy. I think whether you're a man or woman, there's some jealousy going on in the Fandom Menace, or now in the, like, the crazy break-off of the Fandom Menace that is now very anti-Fandom Menace, and they're being anti-Fandom Menace because they want to be cool, I guess. I mean, again, I can understand being critical of people and being critical of the way people present themselves, right? But to go after someone and to try and act like they have the moral high ground, it's just, when they obviously don't, is kind of a little ridiculous, right? Kind of a little ridiculous when you think about it. But thank you for the support, Seth. I appreciate it, man. Rosetta Allen says, hiking Crazy Horse Sunday was crazy. It was cold and wet and muddy. I've been nuts today. I feel on stress. I feel ya on stress. Love, stay strong. Yeah, I mean, it's not really too much stress going on for me. It's just annoyance. It's more annoyance on my end. Jeremy Swig says, I'm so glad I've ever been on Twitter website, let alone join it. You are, you are good on you, man. Good on you. You are not missing anything. Unless you want drama. If you want drama, then you're missing something. But if you don't want drama, you're not missing anything, man. I tell you this, my friend. All right, Blake Hemler says, come join the snow party. It snowed in my city the last couple of days, but the snow is melting, though. I hope it snows here. I would love for some snow down here right now, but the best I can look forward to is having some cool weather coming in this weekend. And by cool, I mean in the 60s with the highs in the 80s, which is still too hot for me in October, but it's better than what it has been. Mattween says, ahoy, cooler weather on the way finally. Yes, indeed, Mattween, and I cannot wait. Super says, same stuff, different day, homework for literal days, and currently feeling a bit under the weather, but happy to be chilling with my peeps in Asgard. Sorry to hear about the Amazon and the Twitters. Thank you very much, Super. I appreciate it. Yeah, good luck with the homework. I feel like you've been just bombarded with that stuff, man. So I hope everything's going well. I hope everything is fine. Lanning Kulik says, you said you were a teacher. What do you teach? I teach religion. I teach junior year religion at a Catholic school. CVJ Review says, I'm seeing Joker tomorrow night. Can't wait, but struggling to find private security. Nice, man. Yeah, I'm seeing it on Thursday. I got my ticket for Thursday, seeing it in the Big D format. First time I've ever seen it in Big D. Sounds like knockoff IMAX, essentially. But at my local theater, I'm seeing a 7 o'clock showing of that. Very, very excited to see it because I haven't seen a movie in a theater in a long time now, which is, again, just showing you how I'm failing at having a movie blog. Did I mention that I have a movie blog? Certainly, sometimes it doesn't feel like it. So I'm glad to finally be seeing it on Thursday, though. Rosanna Allen, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, my 4-month in your Valhalla, and I ain't going anywhere. You were so critical there. You were so critically there for me, breaking through. You're amazing. Stay strong. No problem at all, Rosetta Allen. Again, thank you so much for being a part of Asgard and for being a supporter and just for being awesome. So thank you. I appreciate that. And again, please, I hope that your journey home is going very, 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 very safely. Naderade009 says, did you see the Birds of Prey trailer? Looks as awful as I expected. I did my first YouTube video on it. I have a long way to go. Hey, man, we all got to start somewhere, right? We all have to start somewhere. And Lord knows if you look at the videos I was making a year ago, not that they're any better, but I would say confidence goes up. And when confidence goes up, it just becomes a little bit easier. It's been really cool to see other people who don't really do too many YouTube videos, like my boy, Mr. Peabody. Mr. Peabody is awesome. And every now and then he'll do videos on important topics to him. And it's been really cool to see the development of his speaking style over the years, right? Over the last year or so. It's been really cool to see for someone that never did videos to someone that's doing them on important topics. And I have seen the Birds of Prey trailer. I'm kind of mixed on it. I think there are some good things in the trailer, but there's also some things that are rubbing me the wrong way too. I think that here's the thing. I see 2019 in the film. There's 2019 all over that film, but it could either be very subtle and it could just be a really good film that has some random under the skin elements to it, or it could also just be a complete woke fest. It's going to be one or the other. It's going to be one or the other. I'm hoping that it's the former, right? But we'll see. Sith Tony, thank you for the $2 super. Stop super chatting, Sith, man. Come on. He says, use this as an excuse to plug your merch. Guys, I have merch. Thank you, Sith. I've got t-shirts. Click on the link in the description of the video. Also, it should be on the banner if you're on a desktop site. It should also be on mobile too. But over on teespring.com, I've got t-shirts. They are the cheapest t-shirts you will find in the Fandom Menace. No question about it. I've seen some of my Fandom Menace brethren's t-shirts. They're awesome t-shirts, but they charge an arm and a leg. I charge next to nothing. Very, very little profit because at the end of the day, they're cool t-shirts, and I want people to get cool t-shirts. Alan Sparks says, oh, it's actually my birthday today. I'm like the fiscal baby new year. Well, Alan Sparks, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Alan Sparks. Happy birthday to you. Captain Asshat says, Odin has time to get blocked on Twitter, but Jeremy has no time for gaming reviews. I know, seriously, right? And he has got no time, but no, he actually does have time now for the High Council. It's ridiculous. 70B's in the chat. What's going on, 70B? Tina and 70B are both in the chat. How is it going? How is it going? Alex says, pancake breakfast taco with bacon in it sounds delish. Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing. Let's see. Super says, also speaking of Twitter, I at you just a little while ago. Did you see the most recent Todd Phillips comments on woke culture? Dude's on fire recently. I don't know if I saw the most recent comments, but I know he went after woke culture. He's gone after the far left. He's gone after SJWs. It's been awesome, man. It is when you piss off someone that is mostly in your camp politically, but because you are being a complete asshat, he has to go against you. Holy crap, man. Like that is just But I think I saw the ad super, but again, when I get home and I haven't been on Twitter, it's crazy, and so sometimes things get lost in the shuffle. Some action going on over on D-Live. Captain Dean High says, I'm glad the wife and dogs were mentioned before the switch. Captain Darkstar then says, do you have the leaves changing colors yet? I missed that living in Texas. Not yet. It's still been very, very hot. I would say probably by the end of the month, we'll start to get that change. November is when it's supposed to get much cooler. And November is probably going to be the prettiest month here in Tennessee. And I'm very, very excited about that because it's great to have seasons for once. And I cannot wait for that to start happening. Captain Mr. Roy, thank you for the diamond donation over on D-Live. Captain Mr. Roy, you are just so generous, good sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Rosetta Allen says, I have Sith back as well. He's a stand-up guy. He is. He's a stand-up dude. He is my brother. He is my brother. And what's great is that we don't agree on everything, but he's a cool dude. So that means I can talk to him. I can have a conversation. There are some people who are just crazy, and you can't have a conversation with them. They go off on these accusations. They go off and claim to have the high ground when in reality they don't. You know what the best thing ever? I feel like this is something that's been the most common recently, are people saying, I've got the DMs to prove it. I've got the screenshots of the DMs to prove it. It's become kind of this go-to argument of people saying, look, I've got this evidence, but then they've actually posted it, and you look at it, and you read it, and you say, what does this prove? All it shows is that you had a conversation with them, and that you misinterpreted what was being said. If anything, it just makes you look bad. And it's amazing because a bunch of people, including the person that just blocked me on Twitter, have done. It's ridiculous. Matt Tween, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Says, whoever Darth Paxis is, the episode 9 plot leaker, I'm going to kick them in the face for either being right or trolling us. Either way, kapow. Yeah, I haven't seen any of the recent leaks. I was reading leaks off Reddit about a month or so ago, so I don't know if things have changed or not. But yeah, I mean, at this point in time, I don't think we can really believe much of what's coming out because I would not be surprised if they've got multiple endings or at least multiple shots and that they're still in the editing process, meaning that they could at any time recut the film in various ways and basically make the film different genres, right? I think that they have enough cuts of the film, enough scenes, and enough ways to change things that they can say, hey, the film needs to be more like this, or the film needs to be more focused on this person. I think that they're going to have that kind of wiggle room, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're putting out fake rumors and such to try and get that mindset. Jay So says, yo, Odin, in the words of Fat Albert, hey, hey, hey. Yeah, I can't do a good Fat Albert, man. Mary Mayhem says, hail Allfather, as always, love your bearded face. Well, thank you, Mary Mayhem. Mary, another great YouTuber. Awesome person. Alex Martinez says, I'm so excited for the Joker movie. I hope it makes $1 billion. Me hoping for that apparently makes me a toxic male. Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Like, oh, I want to go see the Joker. I think it's going to be a good film. Oh my gosh, that makes you a terrible person. Why? Because it looks like a really good film, not just like a superhero film, but just a good film. And I'm excited for that. I don't see what the big deal is. I don't see what that's a big problem, man. Captain Asshat says, now for Christmas, you need to drop subtle hints about how Odin needs a PS4 to play God of War. No. One system is more than enough, man. One new system. This is the newest system. The Nintendo Switch is the newest system that I've had in a long time. And it's got plenty. It's got a plethora of content. And it's going to get even more content because we haven't even gotten the newest Pokemon game yet. Pokemon Sword comes out in November. So I'm going to have tons of time. I mean, I could play Mario Kart all day. Like, my wife and I have been playing Mario Kart. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. Mary Mayhem says, I have long held blocking is never the answer when you claim the desire of a civil discourse. Yeah, I mean, I will block. Again, I am definitely not, innocent of that. I will block people, but I normally only block people when they're being complete asshats, meaning they're trolling, which to me is kind of grounds for it, right? Because why do I want my notifications to be blown up by someone who's just being an idiot, who's just trying to troll, who's just trying to get a rise out of me all the time? Like, that's just not my thing. I don't like that. Again, that's just not my thing. There are other people out there that don't block anyone. And again, kudos to you. I'm glad that you're able to put up with it. They say, I'll just mute them. Yeah, I could. But at the same time, I just don't even want them to be in my mind anymore. I don't even want to see them in the conversation if all they're going to do is troll, right? I don't think it's worth getting worked up for. And that's the way that I handle it personally. We all handle those things differently, right? And that's the way that I handle it personally. Alex Martinez says, have you seen the new Birds of Prey movie? I'm cautiously optimistic after seeing the trailer. The cinematographer and acting look good, but if they are going to go woke, I'm out. Yeah, again, they have the elements of what could be a great film. I just don't know how it's going to play out, right? I just don't think it's clear at this point how it's going to actually play out. Blake Helmo says, Disney is remaking the animated movie Snow White in 2020. Thoughts? I'm not surprised because at the end of the day, all they can do is remake, reboot, remake. And I won't be surprised if Snow White, here's what they're going to do. They're going to piss people off because they're going to make Snow White. They're going to make Snow White into a non-white actor. Calling it right now. Would not surprise me, even though it's a part of the name of the person. Would not surprise me at all. It seems to be in their purview to do these things because they like to piss people off. Holy crap, dude. Sith, dude. No, Sith. You know I'm just going to get you back for this one, all right? Sith Crotonian, thank you for the $50 super chat, man. He says, for being a real one. No, dude, no. You're the real one, man. You're the bomb. I'm just doing the right thing by getting your back when these people are going after you, man, because they're the ones that are in the wrong. You're the awesome one. You're the real one. You're awesome. Seriously, go subscribe to Sith Crotonian. He's a solid dude, and I'm going to get you back for that one, man, because I cannot let that slide. Don't be dropping no $50 bombs up in here, man. Don't be dropping those $50 bombs up in here. But thank you, man. I really do appreciate it. Mira Jeremy says, interesting. Yeah, no problem. I'll wait for the open forum, but I'll do some research myself. Yeah, just look up Amazon Synod, and I would look up a person that's been covering this pretty well. Church Militant has done a lot of really good news reporting on it, and I would say LifeSite News is a good source as well. Catholic News Agency, they'll all have information about it. Let's see. Laura, Ryan stole my fan fiction story. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Says, why don't more peeps turn off comments on videos? Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I mean, for videos, I'm okay. For videos, if someone is spamming or saying something disgusting, I'll definitely call them out, right? Like, it's if someone's going to keep on, and all they do is troll and all they do is act maliciously, you can report those comments for spam because that's what they are, right? They're spam, or in some cases, they are very, very disgusting, and so I report it for being inappropriate. And other times, if they're just being a troll, I won't report their comment. I'll just simply say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to hide you from the channel because I don't want to see your nonsense anymore. So I would never turn off comments altogether because there's 99% of just awesome people in the comment section. There's really only ever one or two people that are trying to start stuff. And that's why I would rather, if it's a really inappropriate comment, flag it for being inappropriate because it is, or simply hide them from the channel if they're just being a giant troll, right? If they're not saying anything inappropriate, but they're just being a troll, going after people in the chat, etc., then I'll just hide them from the channel so that way they can't have access to it anymore, right? But I don't know why, I wouldn't turn off comments altogether, though. I don't see that as being something productive, especially since most people are pretty damn awesome. Like, most of the comments are pretty damn awesome. Frank and the Clan says, it's okay, we all love you and have your back. Well, thank you, Frank. I appreciate it. Alex McCarthy says, I know who of you speak. Surprisingly, I'm not blocked, but I don't get into drama unless it's defend someone I respect. Yeah, same here. I kind of stay out of it too. Like, for example, when there was drama going on between this person, I'll just go ahead and just say she was my Irish sister at one point in time, Julie. I don't know what happened, but I remember, got into a huge spat with Geeks and Gamers, with Jeremy, and I think Josiah was in it too. And I stayed back from it because she had an opinion and Geeks and Gamers had an opinion. It was over It Chapter 2 because she thought that the beginning, having two gay men in the movie and kissing each other, that was woke. And Jeremy, I think rightly, I do agree with his opinion on the matter about at least the movie, that he said, no, that's not woke. That's two characters that in the book were also gay. All the stuff that happened in the beginning of the movie happened in that book. So that in and of itself is not woke because the book was written a long time ago and it was simply the characterization of the characters in the book. You know, wokeness, especially when it deals with characters, gay characters, is when you have a character that was pre-established as being straight or not having any sexual orientation that you automatically just turn into something else, right? You turn a straight character gay, or you turn a non-sexual character gay. That is a sign of wokeness because then you are just trying to make changes for the sake of political points. But if you're just telling a story and you're staying true to that story, that is not wokeness, right? And so that was the point that Jeremy was trying to make, that Josiah was trying to make, and she didn't like that. And so she ended up going after them pretty hard for being inconsistent and all these other things, when in reality they were being very consistent, right? Because some people out there, like the Mad Maxes of the world, they say, they claim that we say everything is woke, but in reality we don't. That's a great example, right? I saw It Chapter 2 finally, and I couldn't see any real wokeness to that movie at all, including that story. Because again, the story is just a reimagining of the book, and the book has that scene in it with those characters. And so she was in the wrong as far as her position is concerned. But I didn't get involved with the drama because it became less about the opinion on the movie, and it became more of a personal attack. It was back and forth personal attacks. There were claims of, I've got the DMs to prove this. And I was like, okay, well, I got the same DMs too. And it shows something very different. And then eventually it was a mass blocking campaign. There were people retweeting people. There were people being discussed, like on both sides, right? I don't think there was a good person on either side of the really nasty part on the Twitter spat. I think both sides ended up just not looking very good because it became just a personal feud more so than an honest discussion about a disagreement on a film. And so I just stayed out of it though, right? Because I was like, hey, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I can't say one way or the other. But also, I don't want to pick sides in this situation. And so later on, when I realized that I was also no longer able to follow this person because they had restricted their tweets, Julie had decided to make her account private so that no one else could see her tweets except people that she allowed to follow her account, which again, I respect as a decision. However, the fact that I was, shut out of that, I was like, hey, what's going on here? I could still message her at this point. And that's when she told me, hey, by the way, you haven't commented on my videos in a while. And I'm like, okay, I don't comment on a lot of people's videos that I'm friends with and that I'm willing to work with, etc. But I don't see what the big deal is here. And so I tried to raise it, and eventually we came to agreement, and we, everything happened, and we were on good terms. Last time I talked to her, we were on perfect terms. And then, of course, all the Mad Max stuff happened of some dude, some crazy guy who admits that he has mental issues. And he's like, I'm on medicine for it. And it's like, I'm not going to make fun of you because it's not something to make fun of, but it is still something to call out because that does not excuse your behavior of being obsessed with Jeremy. This is the guy that's been obsessed with Jeremy and has been trying to prove that he is, that he's a fraud and saying, like, I have all the evidence. I'm crazy. And it's like, all you're doing is exposing the craziness, and it's not making you look good at all. And based on the comments section on that, looks like Julie is in Mad Max's camp. And so my assumption is that because I left a comment on Mad Max's video being like, hey, dude, like, you need to seriously let this go, And he didn't, of course, he didn't like that. And his minions, obviously came in and swarmed in on that account, which again was fine because it's not my video. It was my comment. It was basically me leaving a comment in enemy territory, you could say. So absolutely, I deserved anything that I was going to get from that. But I noticed at one point that Julie had left a comment on the video about Jeremy. And so it looks like she's in that camp, and I'm assuming that spat is what led her to eventually block me. Again, this is news to me. That could not be the case. For all I know, it could be a mistake, but you don't really just randomly block someone. You usually don't mistakenly block someone. Normally, that's not something that happens. So I don't know what happens. I still have no beef with her. If she came back tomorrow and said, hey, I'm very sorry for blocking you, it was misunderstanding, I'd be like, hey, yeah, no problem. But something tells me that's not going to be the case, especially seeing how she interacted with people who were just critical of her opinion on a movie. Crazy, 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 crazy times on the YouTube. So that was a long rant, I know. So it looks like some comments may have gotten skipped, so I'm very sorry for that. But it's 7:17 in the chat currently where I am, even though it's 7:30 here. Harabintha says, Jeremy Jahns was the first critic on Rotten Tomatoes to give Dave Chappelle's special a positive review. Despite the PC pressure not to, he gained a lot of respect for me on that. Oh, dude, Jeremy Jahns has been on fire lately, man. Jeremy Jahns not only gave a positive review to Dave Chappelle's special, but also he went after Bob Iger. So the Bob Iger announcement, or rather the information from Bob Iger's new book about how he basically screwed over George Lucas. Dude, Jeremy Jahns has one of the best. It's got millions of views, I think, already. But he's got one of the best rants on Lucasfilm, on Disney, on Bob Iger's treatment. And it's absolutely amazing. It is damn near flawless. Captain SS says, no, you should get Jedi Academy 2 on Switch. Great game. Yeah, I've heard some really good Star Wars games that are on there, and I need to check those out. Tina says, oh, those recent rumors are bad. Clownfish TV said if any of it is true, then Star Wars is officially dead. Mary Sue Ray is even more Mary Sue if they are accurate. Well, I think that it's already kind of dead. I can't see how you could be more dead than dead. I don't get it. Hyman says, not like I care reading about celebrities, but Joaquin speaking out how this woke culture can't take a joke and comedians deal with it. He earns my respect. Exactly, right? We can disagree with people, but at the end of the day, the SJWs have become so crazed that they end up just making not only the people that they're fighting against look better, but also it makes people that would agree with them on most things politically say, you're crazy. We need to back off a little bit. All right, jumping over to D-Live just for a quick second because I want to catch up with these people. Let's see. Captain Dean High says, Episode 9 is going to be a choose-your-own storyline like some video game in the 80s. Wouldn't that be something? Captain Gentry says, I told a friend who has nothing to do with the culture war how Warner Brothers canceled press interviews. He just rolled his eyes and shook his head. That's sad. Yeah. I think that if he knew and understood what was going on, he would be like, oh, hell yeah, cancel those things, man, because all they're trying to do, all the media is trying to do with Joker is try to spin the narrative the way that they want it to go. Captain Gentry says, as far as Birds of Prey goes, I think the opening line of I broke up with Mr. J is all you need to know. It's woke. It's woke. Girl, you simply do not break up with Joker. Oh, that's a good point. That is a great point. Yeah, you don't just break up with the Joker in general, right? Even though it's a movie. If you know anything about the character of the Joker in the movie, you don't just walk away from the guy, right? Yeah, I'm pretty concerned about it personally. Super says Harley Quinn, especially in the comics recently and in the movies, it seems people think the way to fix Harley Quinn is to make her crazy on her without Joker, and that's not the character. No, it's not. I mean, the character was born out of the animated series back in the 90s, and that character was reliant on Joker. Again, you can have a really great story arc of a character developing over time, but just saying, oh, now it's going to leave, it's like, well, that's kind of the core of the story, though. It's still kind of the core of the character herself. Mary Mam says, when do you think blocking is the route to take? I personally think blocking should only happen in extreme circumstances, that it's important to avoid that echo chamber. Oh, no, Mary, I definitely agree. That's why, for me, if someone's going to be respectful and disagree, I'm willing to engage in a discussion. I have no problem with honest discussion. For me, it becomes blockable when they start to use, not straw man arguments, but what's the term for it? Ad hominem. When it becomes ad hominem and it becomes just oh, you're stupid, or this is stupid, and oh, you're an idiot, and oh, you like idiots. When it starts to become like that name calling type thing, that's when I tend to say, all right, man. Or if it never even gets there and it just is a myriad of just nonsensical, spam, essentially, is when again, it usually only happens when I just have no time for the nonsense. Inflamed Wood, what's going on, man? Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, how's it going, Asgardians? Finally got a notification. Been too long. Much love. Well, Inflamed Wood, glad to have you back, man. And yes, it has been too long. Glad to see you here. And I'm sorry that you just got the notification, man. Peter Sharon says, Game of Thrones was supposed to have multiple endings shot, and the leaks were still 100% correct. Peter Sharon, that's a great point. That's why I'm kind of wondering, Peter, what's going to happen when the Blu-ray and 4K come out, if there's going to be extra footage on those things. Kind of wonder. Hardbender says, have you seen Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle? If so, what are your thoughts on it? I loved it. To me, that is how you do a follow-up, right? That's how you do a sequel, is you respect the source material and you add to it. That film was funny in and of itself. That film did not need the previous Jumanji film to exist. It was able to stand on its own, right? And so even though I am tired of sequel culture, the reason why we're tired, and most of us are tired of sequel culture, is because most sequels tend to be crap. Most sequels don't have a reason to exist, don't add anything to the story. And so when you have movies like that come around, you say to yourself, damn, if more sequels were like this, where they're just funny and action-packed and well-made, man, I wouldn't have nearly as much problem with sequels as I do. But because most sequels tend to be crap, that's the reason why I and many others stand in that way, right? I thought I saw Kermit the Log in here. What is going on? Kermit the Log. What is going on, man? He says, I block people who over-tag me. Yeah, I'll mute people. If they're a good person that I like, but I'm getting tagged all the time, I'll mute them. That is something that I do. Because there's people that tag me like 5 seconds every day, and I'm like, all right, man, look, I don't have a problem with you, but I can't get these notifications nonstop every single day. It's a little crazy, man. HyperNext13 says, since Disney loves remaking, they should remake the MCU and add more woke garbage. Oh, let's not add any more woke garbage to it. I think that's too much. Jeremy Swig says, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they changed Snow White's name because someone finds it racist. Oh, you know they will. Landon Kulik says, what are your thoughts on Star Wars prequels since you're supposed to be a hater? Oh, gosh, yes, I remember that. You're just a Star Wars hater. Oh, man. Oh, Lord. So here's, again, I'm not a prequels hater. I'm just not a prequels defender. There's a difference between the two. Prequels defenders are people, in my mind, right, who not only defend the prequels, but love them and think that they are legitimately good movies, maybe always or maybe now in retrospect. I've always held the position that I think that they're not well-made films. And that is not just a subjective opinion. That is objective. The CGI does not hold up. That is simply true. And if you say, oh, but it was revolutionary for the time, well, then why is it that films like Jurassic Park still hold up to this day, even though those were very early visual effects, right? There is a difference, right? There is an objective quality to these things. So visual effects is one thing, but also the dialogue. The dialogue's just not good. The acting also, for a lot of it, unless they're a talented actor like, oh my gosh, been too long of a day. Blanking out on names already. Like Liam Neeson, right? Liam Neeson doesn't need a good director because he is a great actor, but he still was given bad dialogue, right? And that's something that George Lucas has always been known for, is bad dialogue. I mean, that's something he's been notoriously known for. And so I'll go after those objective things, right? The dialogue not being good, the visual effects not being good, but I will always defend the story and say that, hey, you have a consistent story that for the most part is pretty interesting and good. But had we had better dialogue and better visual effects, in my mind, if he had been the story writer and had someone writing the screenplay and directing the film instead of him, I think it would have been an amazing trilogy. Like a trilogy that could stand on its own and not just be looked at through rose-tinted glasses in the wake of the sequel trilogy, right? So I'm definitely not a hater of the prequels. I'll still watch the prequels, but I watch them because I think they're freaking hilarious, because of how bad the dialogue is and because of how the visual effects are, you know? Yeah, so I'm not a defender of the prequels, but I'm also not a hater of the prequels either, if that makes sense. Sith Gratonian, stop giving me money, Sith. He says, for $5, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, I'm just tired of seeing iconic Batman villains in the DCEU and not in a Batman movie. Yeah, I hear where you're coming from, Sith. I kind of like it in some ways because I do like seeing these new stories that aren't grounded in just one universe. But the problem is that they're not doing a good job. If they were doing a good job with it, I think that we wouldn't be as against it as we are, as maybe as you are, right? But you're right. They haven't done anything really powerful with it yet, and I really hope that changes. Grandmaster Yoda says, I believe the Reddit leak was legit. Disney have retconned Sidious as leader of the Empire, and JJ will use him to tie all the films. It just adds up. It does, and I would not be surprised if it was true. But obviously at the same time, I'm just kind of waiting for everything to happen, you know? I'm just kind of waiting for the film itself to actually come out. Rosetta Allen says, I apparently got blocked as well. It's too bad. I did like her so much. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that too. Yeah, so it sounds like she also went on blocking people that, you know, were against. Here's the thing. We weren't even against her. We were against people like Mad Max. And because she has this blind loyalty to him, apparently, I guess, and doesn't understand that he's not right. He even admits it in his comment section, whether it's true or not, I don't know, but he admits it, that there's not something quite right with him. I just don't know why you would want to support it. You don't support someone's mental illness. I'm sorry. You don't feed into it. It's not a good thing. Jumping over to D-Live once again. Let's see where we are. Captain Gentry says, yeah, that's what I mean. He rolled his eyes on what the media was wrong, not that WB canceled them. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha, Captain Gentry. Captain Dean High says, will you be getting tickets for Terminator Woke Fate when they go on sale Thursday? Probably not, because we also have another film coming out that same day on All Saints Day called, what's it called? Is it called Harriet or is it called Tubman? I think it's called Harriet. And that looks so much better. So I'm probably going to get a ticket to Harriet and see that movie first, and then probably do my old Odin's movie blog tactic and buy a ticket to something else that I think deserves my money, and then go see Terminator Dark Fate. So that way also the theater gets my money too, because I don't condone sneaking into a theater outright. I'd rather give the theater my money. Teresa Martin says, I can be your Republic of Ireland sister. # Cork forever. Teresa Martin, are you Irish? That's right. I forgot that you have heritage in Ireland. Yes. # Cork forever. Cork. Rosetta Allen says, I would say writing in a character to be extremely politically motivated in a new story is woke as well, but differently. Yeah, I think that there's definitely some truth to that. And she says, when people I like start fighting, I mute the conversation, not get involved. Yeah, sometimes I do that, especially when it's two sides that I do like. Venom Broly says, like for Dark Crystal, that is woke. Someone pointed a point of wokeness being girls have wings and not guys, but no, that point is not woke. It was already like this in the original movie. Yeah, I mean, I haven't even watched the new Dark Crystal yet, just because, as I mentioned before, I just am not a fan of the effects, because I think that the effects, it's cool that they're staying true to the 1980s style, but I think that there could have been at least an update in the puppetry, you know, at least with the movement of the mouths matching up with the words. Just, again, it just kind of bothers me. But yeah, that's another thing where people are going after it for just no reason, right? They're going after it for no reason, and I think that's kind of ridiculous. Hybrid says, we can make a character study film based on Mad Max, guaranteed Oscar worthy. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. You know what? I kind of want our resident filmmaker, or filmmaker in the making, I should say, because he's still a rookie, is a Rookie Critic. You know, Rookie Critic is known for making these short films. Actually, he's been making theatrical length films recently, but I think he could make a very interesting documentary on that entire debacle. Mary Mayhem, thank you very much for the $2 super chat. You didn't have to donate, Mary. Says, good luck with Sith. Did the same to me 2 weeks ago. Wait, what? Wait, Sith blocked you 2 weeks ago? Sith. Wait, hold on. Sith, you blocked Mary Mayhem? Did you block Mary Mayhem? Did you block Mary? Come on, Sith. Don't make me put you back in my closet, man. Soul Assassin says, that's why I gave up Twitter. Too much drama and nonsense, though. Drama ended when we graduated high school. Yeah, he says, drama ended when we graduated high school. I did too, but apparently not the case. And I'm guilty of it too. Okay, and there's definitely times in which I probably add to it. However, I don't think I'm nearly as bad as some other people. That's just my own thought. Though, of course, many of us don't think that we're the problem until someone opens our eyes to the fact. So if I'm wrong, please Wake me up inside. Can't wake me up inside. You know that song. Harvey Bento says, what do you think the chances are that Disney's new Snow White will be worse than Snow White and the Huntsman and or Mirror Mirror? So Snow White and the Huntsman, here's the weird thing. I didn't hate Snow White and the Huntsman. I didn't love it, but I also didn't hate it either. That's really all I can say about that film. And then Mirror Mirror, I think as a kid's movie, worked in some ways. I think as a kid's movie, it worked out in some ways. I do like that in Mirror Mirror, they actually did cast little people in the roles, as they should, instead of other films. And I believe it was actually, wasn't it Snow White and the Huntsman, where they CGI faces onto little person bodies, which I thought was very offensive, especially when you know that there's a lot of working actors right now in Hollywood that could have fulfilled those roles. But Mirror Mirror, I think as a kid's movie, is kind of entertaining. And the end song is kind of addicting. Not going to lie. Jeremy Swigg says, you never comment on my videos. I don't have any, but that's besides the point. You can make up for it with an Alita metal poster if you want. Oh, Jeremy Swiggs, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I don't comment on your videos. I'm so sorry. Laura says, I feel horrible. I thought Mad Max was just playing. I didn't know he had mental health issues. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know. That's the thing, Laura, is I don't know if he's joking or not. I don't know. Like, some other people have said he has them. I've seen him post it too, but we're just taking him at his word. I mean, I believe it because of his actions, right? But that doesn't justify his actions still. You know, it helps us to understand it better, which is why I'm not going to make fun of him, but I still think it's worthy of being called out, you know? Mary Mayhem clarifies with another $2 super chat and says, no, the super chat thing. The super chat thing. I'm missing that. Just put it in the chat and I'll catch up. I'm sure someone will be able to explain it to me when I catch up. Harbin says, before they hired Branagh, Disney had planned to have Cinderella 2015 feature Ella getting banished from the kingdom and becoming an action heroine by teaming up with a rogue knight. Very glad we got the actual... To be honest, I think one of my favorite live action adaptations that they've done, that Disney has done, is actually Cinderella. And I don't just say that as someone who had his first date with his now wife by going to see Cinderella back in 2015. But I do think that at the end of the day, the film just was very true to the original story, made some additions, meaning it made some, I guess, effects and some changes, like not having the talking rats, as I like to say. But I think that those were good changes that ended up working more often than not. He continues, he says, I count it as a minor miracle that the movie wound up like it was. Unlike most Disney remakes, it managed to be neither deconstructionist nor a pointless rehash of an animated version. I agree. I think it updated the things that needed to be updated, and I thought that it was mostly non-offensive, which is how it should be. Rosetta Allen says, then it lost this comment. Please pray for me and my hubby after losing grandpa and 2 friends this month. My cat is now starting into kidney failure, and I'm a bit oh, no, Rosetta. I'm so sorry to hear that. Ah, gosh. Yeah, that's, Rosetta has had a very, so anyone in the chat, please, if you want to share your thoughts and prayers with Rosetta. I know that she's had a very, very rough, very, very rough month. Again, losing a couple of friends, but also her grandpa. I think that's been, obviously, the most... I think that's been the most difficult loss. And I mean, even though it might seem like, grandpa and then cat, I mean, obviously we all know, anyone that has pets knows that they are essentially a part of the family, right? And that, especially with everything else going on, that's definitely not going to be good. So please keep her in your thoughts and prayers, and you'll be in my thoughts and prayers that I continued. And again, I'm very sorry to hear that about your cat like that. Let's see. It's a Trap Production says, same thing happened to me earlier this year, my lord. I had a friend of 9 years who just up and blocked me across all social media. They even rejected my Patreon donations. That's so weird. It's a trap. That's so weird. I don't feel like you say anything controversial. I feel like most of your streams are just fun-loving gaming streams. Like, I don't understand that. Speaking of which, we need to play some Mario Kart together, man, now that I have a Switch. Howard Bento says, I checked the Columbia, Mississippi Walmart again today. I saw the following: 25 Blu-rays for Alita, 5 DVDs, Captain Marvel, 6 Blu-rays, 2 DVDs, Shazam, 9 Blu-rays, 9 DVDs. Interesting. Negaludo says, how's the 90-degree October working for you? Oh, it's miserable, man. That's why this weekend it's supposed to drop to 60, highs in the 80s, and that sounds lovely. Hardwick says, have you seen The Kid 2019? It's a Western featuring Dane DeHaan as Billy the Kid and directed by Vincent D'Onofrio. Chris Pratt plays the villain. I didn't know Vincent D'Onofrio directed that. I've not. Dane DeHaan has kind of been a flash in the pan. I'm not as... I loved him in Chronicle. Like, he was amazing as the villain in Chronicle, and then he just has not been able to match the same level. He then jumped on to Spider-Man and did a terrible job as Harry Osborn. So, yeah. How is it? Harabentha says, one does not simply break up with the Joker. Oh, for sure. Yes, you don't simply just do that. Alice McCarthy says, well, let me tell you something, brother. When you get drama after you just show them the 24-inch pythons and say, what you gonna do when Odin Media runs wild on you, brother? Yes. I could not hold that up for long because that's going to ruin my voice. Bruce says, sorry, I'm late. I was shopping, got here at 7:15. My thoughts on the Birds of Prey trailer is very positive. Had we went to see the movie. Yeah, I mean, Bruce, I'm mixed on it. I think that there's some really good things, but I think there's also a lot of indications that it could go woke, and I really hope that's not the case. Hammer says, I got my Rambo First Blood 4K Blu-ray prize. Thank you so much, good sir. Going to pop it in my 4K player this weekend and bask in the warm glow of toxic masculinity. Yes! Bask in the glow of toxic masculinity and baby oil from the 1980s, man. You don't get movies like that anymore. Enjoy that in 4K HDR high definition. Tech Guy says, Harley broke up with the Joker. No, she woke up with the Joker. Yes. Agreed. CWD Trixie says, Disney Star Wars is all dead, mostly dead. Not mostly dead. There is no saving Disney Star Wars, and just to rummage it of loose change. Yeah, I would say that there's a lot to that because you can't retcon, unless you do retcon The Last Jedi, you still have The Last Jedi, and nothing can fix that. Harbender says, Hugh Jackman is liberal, but is still friends with Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. He said the secret to keeping their friendship is not talking politics. Why can't more people do that? That's a great point. I know that me and Freya, we do not go eye to eye on a lot of issues, but we also do come to eye on issues that are much more important. And that's all that's important, right? Is finding perspective. Steady says, The Rock is coming to SmackDown this Friday. Damn right he is. I hope I can actually watch it. Steady says, you said doo-doo. I said doo-doo. Jace Doe says, heard about the first scene of It getting flack just because it was a gay couple being the first victims. Never knew some think it is a woke scene. I just wanted a little more Pennywise. Yeah, I wanted a little more Pennywise too. You know what my biggest issue with It Chapter 2 was? I haven't given a full review of it on the channel yet, but I'm planning on doing it, is all the stuff with It is so inconsistent. Like, it can kill people, but then when he scratches, like there's a scene with the mirror and he's getting scratched and it's happening in real life, but then it goes away. He gets magically healed. Or when some of the characters get put into a situation where one of them is trapped in a bathroom and there's blood being filled up, but that isn't real. You know, it's supposed to be in her mind, and yet she's covered with blood. So why is it that she's covered with blood and it's in her mind, but she's still covered with blood, but then the other person, which is also in their mind, is getting scratched, but then the scratches aren't there? It doesn't make any sense. So the inconsistency with It's character, to me, was what frustrated me the most, because I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. How does that work? But what happened before didn't work. This doesn't make any sense. But yeah, the one thing that is not a problem is the fact that there is a gay couple in the beginning of the film. That is not wokeness. That is from the book. And also, it is something that, guess what? There have been, people who think it's woke. There have been gay couples for a long time. And oh, by the way, back during the 1980s when this film is set, that's how people would have been treated because we weren't nearly as advanced as a culture. And oh wait, I can't believe, did you realize that Pennywise doesn't care about your sexual orientation? No, I can't. Oh my gosh, but it's woke. Oh my gosh, it's woke. It's so ridiculous. Ridiculous, anyone that thinks that. Let's see. Daily Dose of Jurassic Quotes. Great name. Thank you for the Aussie $5 super chat. Says Lucasfilm, don't worry, I'm not making the same mistakes again. The fans, no, you're not making all new ones. You're making all the new mistakes. That's for damn sure. All right, jumping over to D-Live for a second. Captain K-Man, thank you for the 4 lemon donation. Kim Cam Park, thank you for the lemon donation as well. Kim Cam Park says, I prefer Moesha Cinderella. Oh, okay, so Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. That's the one that you like. The one that was Disney, Rodgers and Hammerstein's. Captain Dean High says, caught your Home Alone video this afternoon. At least the kid is still a boy, but the whole looking for a big name for the female lead would worry me. Yeah, me too. Also, it sounds more like Dennis the Menace than anything else. It sounds a hell of a lot more like Dennis the Menace to me. And we don't need that. We don't need that. Dave Bob, where the hell have you been, man? Glad to see you here. I've missed you. Says Jeremy thinks they are great. Dude, I love you, Dave Bob. You're awesome. I miss talking to you. I miss our Discord chats. I haven't been in the Discord in a long time in the voice chat. That's just because my voice, I just don't think could handle it after a stream anymore. Tina says, I do think Star Wars is dead and abuse of a corpse is against the law, so Disney should be prosecuted. Damn right. Super says that Harley comment was a 2 parts. Some got skipped. Also, people forget Harley was never really crazy. She compromised her values for a man who didn't love her back. She needs Joker. Boom. There it is. A Ghost to Ursula says, what is your favorite Alien film? Is it Alien 1979 or Aliens 86? Aliens is the better film, in my opinion. I like action films. That film is a wonderful, one of the best action films, and is damn awesome. Orange Hat Review says, B.O.P. Birds of Prey goes against Margot Robbie's original ideals. She used to be anti-identity politics. Everyone has a price, I guess. Hers was SJW cancel culture, I guess. Yeah, I think so too. And it's really sad because she was a part of that anti-SJW train for a long time. Alice McCarthy says, all Liam Neeson needs is a camera on him and someone gone missing or kidnapped. That's true. Souls says, Liam Neeson is awesome. He saved his kid from slavers while training both Batman and Obi-Wan. Oh, he is badass, man. I tell you, if Liam Neeson, the actual person, had a movie centered around all the characters, like it was a universe centered on all of his movie characters, that would be such, like, I don't want a Spider-Verse. I want a Liam Neeson verse. That's a film I would pay money for, a Liam Neeson verse with all of his different characters. Harvard Benther says, Iger's memoir contains information that seems to confirm that Ike Perlmutter did indeed delay the wokening of the MCU. I feel like I've read this comment before, like 3 times in different streams, until he was removed from his position at Marvel Studios. Yeah, this is something that I've read before. Rosetta Allen says, I fight mental mental illnesses and issues. I am not proud of them. I don't want them celebrated. It's hard and nothing to celebrate. Yeah, I mean, it helps us to better understand where people come from, right? It helps us to better understand behavior, but I mean, the reason why it's called a mental illness is because it is a mental illness, right? So it shouldn't be, right? Now, it shouldn't be something to be ashamed of either, right? So we need to be careful, right? We're not saying be ashamed of it. We're saying know thyself, again, know what's going on, but also understand that that could have an impact. That could have something, right? Stephanie B throwing some shade in the chat says, I don't care now if she blocked me. I used to watch her channel, but I unsubbed. I rather watch a positive person. Well, that's awesome, Stephanie B. Yeah, and again, I don't have any actual beef with her, but she apparently would rather back someone who has issues, whether it's a diagnosed issue or not. It definitely has issues where he's obsessed with Jeremy at the very least, and she would rather block anyone that doesn't agree with it. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. The CJH says, hello there. Can't stay too long because I'm extremely tired, but just wanted to stop by and say hello. Well, thank you, good sir. JKD Buck says, good evening, sir. Good evening, good sir. Nick says, I'm not a prequel defender, but they are so much better than Disney's disgusting take on the franchise. The world-building aspect of the prequels is still beautifully Star Wars. Agreed. Again, all the stuff surrounding the dialogue, etc., is fantastic. And then the dialogue is just downright hilarious. Tommy says, I have a theory that media and leftists are causing a panic over Joker with speculation of an attack to scare people away from theaters and use a platform to push gun restrictions. Oh, for sure. But you know what else, Tommy? And this might be controversial, but I do honestly believe this to be true. I think that the media are trying to gin up fear for this movie because they want something to happen. And I know you might be saying, no, surely no one wants something to happen. Oh, I think the people in the media, especially the people running the media, want something to happen when Joker comes out because that gives them something to talk about. That gives them, as you said, a platform to push their agendas. And we can have an honest discussion about common sense gun reform because I think all of us can at least agree there should be some reform going on, right? No one's saying ban or anything like that, though, obviously at least here, but there should be some reform. It's amazing that I brought this up with my students recently. It's amazing that I can get a group of 16 and 17-year-old kids to come to an agreement on some of the biggest issues plaguing our country that Congress cannot even take a second to talk about reasonably. It's amazing to me to see the differentiation between the two. I tell you. But no, I think honestly that the media wants something to happen, and I am scared that something will happen. Not because of the movie, but because the media has been so obsessed that something could and will happen, that something then eventually will happen, because the only reason why people act in that way is when that idea is put into their head. And the only one putting the idea into their head right now are the media. And I would say if something does happen, I hope that there is a mainstream personality on YouTube, in politics, in Hollywood, who steps up and says, I'm going to point the finger where it deserves to be pointed, and that is at the person who fired the weapon, who did something, but also at the media for building up and creating the atmosphere for this type of behavior to thrive. Because I tell you, it really does terrify me. And again, has nothing to do with the movie. Has everything to do with the assets in the media trying to push this crap. All right, chat jumped on me once again. Jeremy Swiggs says, I was also just trying to give you a segue to plugging your posters. Well, hey, I've got awesome metallic posters. I got a John Wick poster and a Alita Battle Angel poster. They're both made of metal. I also have one right here to show. Boom, look at that. Casablanca, giant, made of metal, meaning that it gets hanging on the wall using magnets. If you want a discount on it at the website Displate, check out the link in the description of the video. Use the promo code ODIN, ODIN, all lowercase, to get 15% off your order. Thank you for the segue, Jeremy Swiggs. I appreciate it. Super Anime Gamer says, the dude who made Snow White and the Huntsman does realize that forced perspective is a thing, right? He should have really watched Lord of the Rings. Yep, because not only did he put CGI actors' faces on little people bodies, but then he did it poorly too. 70B says, Lord, Mary and Sith are friends. She meant he drop a big super chat on her stream. Oh, thank you for explaining to me, Steph. I thought they were friends. That's why I was very, very, very confused. I was very confused, my friend. Venom Broly 93 says, don't worry, I remember you didn't watch Dark Crystal, but it's the only example I know. It's the only example I know of something. Nothing attacked for wokeness when people talk being attacked for wokeness when it is not. Yeah, I mean, if something's woke, we can call it out as woke, and most people will agree on it, right? But if something's not woke and you're one of the only people that's calling it out, but then you don't realize the error of your mistake, that's more on you. Venom Broly says, being not... Yeah, I gotcha. Harvender says, the only thing I liked about Snow White and the Huntsman was Charlize Theron was the evil queen. Her scenes had a horror movie flair that was way more fun than the rest of the movie. Oh, I hated her scenes. Her acting was so bad. I love... In fact, there is an old video from one of the first movie channels I was doing. We only made 3 videos. It was me and a good friend of mine from New Orleans. And we do a movie review of Snow White and the Huntsman. And the one thing that oh my gosh, we make fun at the very end. We put in a little tag at the end if you stayed and watched the whole video. And it's us doing the, you will do this for me, Huntsman. And that's how she presents the line. It's awful. Her line delivery in that movie was so bad. John Early says, I want to hear your thoughts on the lawsuit filed against Nintendo because of the Switch's Joy-Con drift issues. Well, seeing I just got mine, I have not had any Joy-Con issues. Now, if it is discovered through this process that the drifting issue is commonplace and is something that could have been addressed, then I think and hope that people get something back for it. Alex McCarthy says, I recommend The Kid. Dane DeHaan was awesome as Billy the Kid. Okay, glad to hear that he's had some, what's the term for it? Some retribution? Not retribution. that he's had some redemption. That's the word I'm looking for. Redemption, I tell you. Hybrid says, what happened to those cute animal movies where they had voiceovers such as Homeward Bound? Must everything be CGI talking Animal Fest now? Hyper, that's a great point. Because you know what? Those movies have aged well. I can watch Homeward Bound and think, oh my gosh. And then you think back to Homeward Bound and you realize that Chance was voiced by Michael J. Fox. And now that will never leave your mind. Oh gosh, I love those movies so much. Captain Asshat says, Odin, I'd love to play Mario Kart with you, but Nintendo online service is crap. It might be only $20, but like with my PS4, I don't pay for playing online. Yeah, I can understand that, but I've actually had no issues with the online service playing at least Mario Kart. I have not had any Mario Kart issues playing online yet. I've been playing almost every night, at least a couple of games. Random Nerd Doom says, the news about Mark Hamill forcing his son's ex-girlfriend to get... Oh, whoa. Yep, Random Nerd Doom... Hybrid X13 says, I bring that genre up as an example because we have these CGI animal movies such as Lion King and The Lady and the Tramp. Yeah, seriously. You can't just have a voiceover going on. We don't need to have moving mouths on our animals. I tell you. Super says, have you seen Place Beyond the Pines? No, I own it, though. I do own it. Dane DeHaan was in it. It was absolutely fantastic. And I got to be honest, I don't blame him for Spider-Man. Mark Webb totally blew it. Yeah. I think that there's definitely blame to be shared. But I also don't think his performance was very good in it either. Hybrid says, as Chris Stuckman would say, I grew up divorcing Joker. Funny how the animated version is loyal, but not the live action version. Yeah, but you know what? It's really not that surprising. Harvard Bentha says, the kid got mostly negative reviews, but I liked it. It was gritty and philosophical. I thought Dane DeHaan was really good in it. He was reminiscent of young Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, I think the guy's got a lot of talent. I just think that he's not chosen a lot of really good roles, but I'm glad to hear from a couple people that this one appears to be a pretty good role. And yeah, to be honest, I don't even care about critic reviews anymore because critic reviews are almost always wrong. Random Nerd of Doom says, hey, Odin, do you watch Transformers and what incarnation do you prefer? I prefer Generation 1. I do not, so I have no idea what that means. Rosetta Allen says, there are gay people in literature all the way back before the English language existed. You want to talk about that? Greek philosophy, Greek culture, thousands of years BC. That is how far back this goes. Random Nerd Doom says, I will never see Mark Hamill the same again after the recent news that was released about him. Yeah, I mean, he went crazy, and it's not good. It is not good at all. Again, I can still like him in a movie, right? I can still like him as Luke Skywalker. I can still like that character. But it is sad that his real-life persona is so far removed from the character that he portrays. Bruce says, I'm so stoked. I got my ticket for this Thursday showing of Joker at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. That's a random time, but I'm glad you got it. Yeah, I have a 7 p.m. showing myself. In the Big D format. Don't know what it is. Server says, agreed, political differences are okay, but you have to be adults about it. And in relationships, I think basic agreements are important, like on the concepts of life and liberty. Exactly. Like, if you don't agree with the big things, then it's probably not going to work out, right? At least when it comes to really close relationships. But I have friends, really good friends, where it's one of those things where, like, they are still good friends. Like, I think that if we ever were to come back and hang out with each other, the friendship would continue. But because of just life and moving and things, just haven't talked to a lot of them in a long time. But in my core group of friends when I was younger, I had friends that were atheist, liberal, and it just total opposite of where I was as a kid. Because as when I was younger, I was extremely Republican conservative. I was, now obviously you guys know I'm much more independent. I'm just so sick and tired of both sides. I think that both sides are just ridiculous. But yeah, we were able to get along though because we didn't talk about politics. And when we did, we came across, at the end of the day, we were like respectful about it and ended up having fun. JJ says, touch base on Palpatine as a puppet yet. Again, I haven't read any of the new spoilers yet because I'm just so over it. Tina says, you mean the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella with Leslie Ann Warren? That is my Cinderella. And yes, that was the way. That was way pre-Clue. Nice. Just Joe 47. The gay couple getting killed in It Chapter 2 took place in the modern day, not in the 1980s. No. Modern day. Wait. When did the original Chapter 1 take place? Was that one in the 80s or was that one in the 60s? I don't know. Someone tell me. Let's see. Over on DLive, Captain Gentry says, now I've had 72 hours to think about it. I do remember Bob the Midichlorian. Good. Bob the Midichlorian was very important for a long time. Captain Darkstar says, wait, what? Stephen King is liberal? That's a shock. I know, right? Captain Gentry says, I want a Keanu-verse, Neo, John Wick, Ted, Theodore, Logan. Oh my gosh, yes. A Keanu-verse would be amazing. Captain K-Man says, a friend of mine believes that all media hype of a shooting about the Joker movie is a little worried about going to see it. Yeah, and again, I don't think that you have anything to be worried about going to a movie theater. I remember the same thing was said after what happened in Aurora, Colorado, but then nothing else happened, you know? And also it's been debunked that was even influenced by the Joker. A lot of people reported that the dude was influenced by the Joker, but then when you actually read the court cases, you realize that it wasn't. In fact, he was just a crazed individual. Captain Gentry says, the thing about the term woke is it's subjective. What's woke to me could be normal to you, so it's rife for argument, sadly. Yeah, I think there's definitely some truth to that, but I also think that there is a more standard element to it too. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. Captain Darkstar says, Rahm Emanuel stated once, never waste a good crisis. Now they seem to be creating them. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I remember when he said that, and no one batted an eye, except for like a few people on one side of the aisle. It's like, no. He just said not to let a crisis go to waste. He just said that he wants to use crises to push something forward. That is awful. Captain Gentry says, DLive needs more character spaces in its comments. I'm too garrulous for 140 characters. Damn it. Well, you need to work on it. Yeah, I can see that the trolls are back, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to delete that real quick. There we go. Orange Eye Review says, the first LGBTQ-themed movie in Hollywood was Vingarn in 1916, SJW's scream about representation, but don't realize that they've had it for a century. I agree. Bruce says, River and Willow's gift is right. Bruce, you got it right, man. You got the dog's names right. It's been so funny because Bruce realized the other day that Bruce thought that one of my dog's name was Winter for a long time. And in one of the last emails he sent me, he still said, I still don't know if this is right, but you got it, Bruce. Thank you, man. Yeah, so I went to the P.O. Box today and got some more movies from MVD Visual. I talked about those in one of the videos, in the video that I did today. And actually, one of them is kind of cool. So one of them is a movie I haven't seen before, Crimson Peak by Guillermo del Toro. So I got the Blu-ray for that. It's the Arrow video release for it, and the cover art is freaking cool. So I don't do scary movies very well, but this actually sounds pretty good. So I'm kind of excited. If you've seen Crimson Peak, Guillermo del Toro's version, please let me know. Please let me know. Dean Heist, thank you for the 2 ice cream donation over on DLab, man. I appreciate it. Jeremy Swig says, Liam Neeson, live and die this day. Jay Stowe says, that should be a death battle, Liam Neeson versus Chuck Norris. Oh my gosh, yes, that should be an epic rap battle of history. Liam Neeson versus Chuck Norris. Rosetta Allen says, pulling into the house, just got tornado warnings, got to sign off, hugs, all. Stay safe, Rosetta, please stay safe. Prayers heading your way. Sporky News Podcast says, which Liam Neeson's character would win against the others? No Jedi mind tricks. Hail. Ooh, well, with no Jedi mind tricks, you would therefore still have the skill of the warrior that Qui-Gon Jinn had. So I would still go with Qui-Gon Jinn, I think. Alex Garley says, Liam Neeson's Brian Mills versus Keanu Reeves, John Wick. Who would win? Keanu Reeves, John Wick. I think John Wick would win for sure. Absolutely. Super Anime Gamer says, hate to say it, but I think a celebrities' politics are dictated by their status. Hugh Jackman, Todd Phillips, Tarantino can all afford to lose media favor. Robbie didn't think she could. I think there's a lot of truth to that. Megazord Jeremy is in the chat, says, I am Megazord Jeremy, the most powerful Jeremy of all time. Grrr. Bruce says, I totally believe the media wants something to happen and are actively trying to make it happen. I do too, and it's really sad. Tina says, the media can't be trusted at all. I've been suspicious of them since William Randolph Hearst and his papers pushed us into the Spanish-American War. Yeah, that far back. Yeah, the media have had a lot of power for a long time. And I think that until we, as a society, start to step up and start to reject the nonsense, it's going to continue. And something that's been talked about recently, I don't know if anyone follows Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder is more of a right-leaning guy, but he's also a pretty important person as far as YouTube's concerned. He's very important on YouTube. And one of the reasons why is because he is a conservative voice. And his channel has been completely demonetized. His search results have been tampered with, where he's been known. He is the one that made Change My Mind segments famous, right? And yet, until his lawyer got involved, if you Google search Steven Crowder Change My Mind, his videos, the videos that he made of the topic he created, you did not get to until 70 videos down in that search. And what he exposed was that his channel and others were being censored for their content. And we've known this has been happening. I mean, I think that Tim Pool has done a great job exposing not just YouTube, but Twitter especially, and the biases that they have, right? And I think that that's why both of them are so important. You know, on Tim Pool, you've got someone that is a center-left person, right? And I love him. And then you've got Steven Crowder, who is definitely a right-leaning person, and I love him. And then you've got people like Dave Rubin, who is a left guy. And again, I love him because they're common sense people. I love people of common sense. I can disagree with you on a lot of core issues, but I can at least respect you if you're common sense. And yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Tina. I think you're absolutely right. And I don't know what happened, but welcome to everyone that's just joined the stream. We got 132 people in here right now. Smash that like button, please, and have some good time while you're here. Take a load off. Chill back, sit back, and relax and enjoy. Super Anime Gamer says, that and the prequels, regardless of how messy they are, they had a genuinely cool and interesting story to tell. And Clone Wars proved that. Disney Star Wars has been hollow from the start. Oh, yeah. Clone Wars was just freaking the bomb, man. Tommy says, if they say something will happen enough, like you said, someone will step up and make it so. Yeah, exactly. They are creating and building the environment for it, and it is ridiculous. Harbed says, I think we need the type of gun reform that Switzerland has. Mandatory gun ownership. The gun crime rate is almost zero because everyone's too afraid of getting shot to start trouble. Hey, I think there's some truth to that. The one thing I would say is Switzerland is such a smaller country that it seems to be more apt to do that. Also, there's culture. See, here's the problem when comparing America to other countries, or any other country to America and vice versa, is that you're talking about different cultures, different people, different populations, different, basically different everything. And what works for one group is not going to work for everyone else, right? That's why I really do wish that our states had more autonomy in the United States, because that was the whole point, was that they were supposed to be 50, and I hate to use this expression because I know it's been used by many others, there were supposed to be 50 laboratories of innovation where you could have a state try something, fail, and then all the other states are still fine, and then all of us now know, oh, we won't do that because that doesn't work. At the same time, you have some states that can try something controversial, it ends up being successful, and then other states can say, oh, now we can adopt that. But you don't have that happening anymore because the federal government has taken just so much damn power. It's ridiculous. Alex Garley says, of course Josiah goes live when you are. Of course he does. And I love how Josiah goes live and I gain more viewers. Nicolita says, sickening time we live in when some people are actually hoping for more violence just so they can win petty media and Twitter arguments. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I said, the fact that you have media agencies that I guarantee you are planning right now saying, so when something happens, because guys, we're creating this environment, something's going to happen. It's disgusting. It really is. If you want to see a really great movie that deals with it, maybe not as directly as some other films do as far as the topic it covers, but Nightcrawler does a great job at exposing the sensationalist news. It focuses on the local news mostly, about how almost all local news broadcasts start with killing, death, murder. But we can easily see something similar to that happening in the mainstream media too, in the more national media, I would say. Super says, I was too young when The Dark Knight came out to remember. How do you think Joker movie coverage compares to that of The Dark Knight? Again, no one was talking about it. Super, no one was talking about it because nothing had happened. It wasn't until the Aurora, Colorado shooting that all of a sudden Joker became a pariah. So one action from one person, not a series of events, not a series of responses, but one person. And then that one person, we find out, actually had no direct correlation to the Joker. They were not acting out because of the Joker. They did not think that they were the Joker, even though that was the narrative at the time. So this whole thing has just been based off of a lie. It's ridiculous. Alex Riley says, and now Drunk is live. Come on now, folks. Pulling a Jeremy. I know, seriously. But again, you have Drunk going live. You have Josiah going live. And now I have more viewers. I don't know what that says, but I love them, though. Seriously, go like and follow their channels and have them on the background. Give them some love, too. Have me on mute. Have them on mute. Whatever it is. Your preference. They're good people. CW Trixie says, the Huntsman I know best if from Freakazoid, gotta use the horn of urgency. CW says, Joy Drift issues on Switch? No sé, shrug. Megazord Jeremy, I wonder, do these SJWs ever get tired of their wokeness they have to keep up? What a waste of your life, pretending to be angry over nothing all the time. It must be exhausting. It is, yeah. John Roy says, I like Homeward Bound too because it was interesting seeing Chance fall in love with Daisy. Was it? I can't remember her name, but I liked her voice. Yeah, I can't remember either, but I remember the first one was really good. I actually enjoyed the second one. Gavin Assad says, Odin, I have to walk off my Chipotle. If I don't make it back, tell the Valks I love them. Also, I can't wait for Friday for Joker. Yes. Cannot wait for it either. Megazord Jeremy says, I wonder, would young Mark Hamill from 1972 be disgusted with Mark Hamill 2019? He really joined the dark side. Yeah, I do. I think he was a very different person back then, not going to lie. I think almost most people in Hollywood were very different politically than they were back then also. I really do believe that. Let's see what we got going on over. Oh, sorry about that. See you over on D Live. Kathleen Heiss, thank you for those 2 ice cream. I appreciate it. Daniel Thorne says, people running from Josiah? I guess so, man. Blake Hemlow says, where I'm from, it's mostly liberal and NDP folk. NDP? I'm not getting that. Megazord Jeremy says, what would you do if you had that remote from the Click movie? I wouldn't use it for personal gain like he did. I would try and stop acts of violence, acts of war. I just really honestly think that would be the case. HyperNex13 says, if chapter 1 was about in the mid-70s, I think 1974. So yeah, and it's 27 years later. So yeah, if the first chapter was in 1974, then yeah, so that would still be during a time. So because it's 27 years later. So I'm terrible at the math. So that would make it 1994 plus 7. So that'd be 2001. So that means chapter 2 would take place theoretically in 2001, which is still about 18 years ago. So I think the argument still holds, where that was definitely not a time in America at the very least where people were as accepting as they are now. The CJH says, according to Bob Iger, Fox was upset and even angry that George Lucas didn't even bother to sell them instead of Disney after all the work they did for George for years. Yeah, it does not look good for them going forward. I think that book is going to end up hurting them a lot. Megazord Jeremy says, I wonder if they did a sequel to Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie and they casted another Harley Quinn in the sequel, would Margot get jealous? Probably. I think so. Just Joe 47 says, in the book, the gay couple gets killed in the 80s, but in the movie, chapter 2, they get killed in modern day 2019. Okay, so therefore, in the book, it does make sense. And yeah, see, that's the thing. I guess they changed it, chapter 1's timeline, maybe? I don't know. Not gonna lie, though. I think that could still happen today. Super says, oh, me too. I have 2 best friends I've known since middle school. One's an anarcho-capitalist Christian, and the others are agnostic Bernie bros, and we disagree, but we're still cool. Yeah, again, we can all have differences of opinion, but we can still get along at the end of the day. Tina says, Crimson Peak is great. I've seen it twice. It's very atmospheric, and of course, Hiddleston is in it, and it's quite good. Well, Tina, if Tina says it's good, and she is the queen of movies, she is the movie historian, and she does love herself some Tom Hiddleston, that makes me happy. I'm looking forward to that now. Bunch of people saying they liked Crimson Peak. Megazord Jeremy says, who would win in a fight? Blade and Celine from Underworld. Blade. I think Blade would win because he can walk in the sunlight. It depends on which, because Celine in the beginning can't do that. It wasn't until the end of the series or the end of the second film, right? When she finally couldn't also do that. Super says, oh, sweet. I haven't seen Crimson Peak, but I've been meaning to. I heard, though, the film was very mismarketed, so I wouldn't watch the trailer beforehand. Yeah, I think it was being marketed as a horror film, and if it turns out to not be a horror film, I'm okay with that. If it's mismarketed and it's not a horror film, hey, I'm okay. That's fine by me. That is fine by me. Let me tell you. I don't mind it not being a horror film. I tell you this much. Let us see here. Harvard Bender says Harley Quinn's next appearance was supposed to be in Gotham City Sirens, but Margot Robbie had them make it Birds of Prey instead, allegedly due to wanting to be the undisputed star. In Gotham City Sirens, she would have to compete for audience attention with Poison Ivy and Catwoman. She had Barbara Gordon kicked out of the Birds of Prey and replaced with Harley Quinn. She allegedly had Jurnee Smollett-Bell cast as Black Canary, despite Vanessa Kirby being on the shortlist because she didn't want another charismatic blonde bombshell competing with her. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if any of that's true. I think that sounds more like, behind the scenes hearsay drama, which I think can only be believed half the time. So I'd be interested to see what the actual true point is. Bruce says, I knew she was named after Summer Glau's Firefly character, but I kept typing the opposite of summer, winter instead of river. It was just brain farting that couldn't stop. Yeah, Bruce, it's all good, man. I do like that was the mindset, though, that you still remembered that River is named after River Tam from Firefly, and that you got that. Megazord Jeremy says, the media in today's world reminds me of the rich bad guy from James Bond that caused bad things just to report on them first. We need a James Bond in real life to fight the media. Zachary says, Operation Mockingbird, look it up. It is what is going on, and the media controlled by the CIA. I must say, I'm always hesitant. I'm always hesitant to go into conspiracy theories like that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'm always hesitant. Aiden Vicker says, all the news outlets have gone downhill and moved towards tabloid. Over here, the BBC have a channel called BBC News 24. A more accurate name would be BBC News 1 Opinion 23. Damn, son. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you're in the 24-hour news cycle. You need to get those ratings, sadly. Hybrid X13 says, I don't understand. I thought Liam Neeson played Henri Ducard in Batman Begins. Wasn't Ra's al Ghul Watanabe? Am I missing something? No. So that is... Yeah, you did miss something. So that was... From what I understand, I thought this was clear, but maybe it wasn't. That basically the guy that he thought, that Christian Bale, that Batman thought was Ra's al Ghul, was not actually Ra's al Ghul, but it was instead Liam Neeson's character the whole time. And that it was instead a facade. CJH says, it's kind of hypocritical for the media to be praising Birds of Prey and Harley Quinn's, but diss the Joker movie. Yeah, I would say so. I would say that's pretty hypocritical. And I would say that if Joker was being played by a female character, that they wouldn't be saying the same thing. Mazor Jeremy says, do you watch Yokai Watch? It's like Pokemon, but with Japanese ghosts. No, not. Grandma Zuda says, what do you believe Joker will end on? I guess between 550 and 800 million. Yeah, I'm about there too. I think it's going to be between 450, 500 million and 750. And I base that off of the early projections. Warner Brothers thinks that the film's going to make 250 in the United States. And if it can match that, if it gets close to a 50-50 split, that means 500 million. I think it'll be more money overseas, personally. And so if the percentage then goes to 54-46 split, you're looking at closer to 550, 600 million. So that's the reason why. I don't think it's going to hit the $1 billion mark. And the biggest reason, because some people say, oh, why not? It's a rated R movie. That means that there's a huge chunk of people, one of the largest sects of people that go see movies that can't see it because of age restriction. So, and also other countries have different restrictions themselves. So because of the rated R, and that's why rated R films don't make billions of dollars, just because it limits the audience that can actually go see it. And so that's why I'm in that range. Hybrid says, guess what, Odin? The media just want a story. They don't care about morality. That explains why they're encouraging gun violence with a movie. Yep. Yes, they are. All right, I got to start skipping some comments because we're almost at an hour and 30. Let's see. Sporky News Podcast says, you're a good people, man. Oh, thank you. Say says, Tuesday nights are for the low council. God, I know, right? Server says, in my humble opinion, the federal government was never intended to be what it is today. The Constitution, Bill of Rights, and all their writings were meant to emphasize self-governance. Yep. That was the original point for sure. Megazord Jeremy says, would you ever one day go overseas to help build houses in developing countries like Drunk 3PO? Yes, I actually, when I was younger, I did. When I was in high school, we did a service trip to Mexico for a week, and we re-thatched walls. We built walls, rather, of... we built walls. We built walls to houses. We also rethatched the roofs of them because a lot of the huts were just made out of, leaves essentially. And it was very powerful. It really was. And I would love to do it again. It really comes down to time and expense. But I would love to do it again for sure. Absolutely. Bruce says, on the media, not just wanting, but encouraging it. Do they even care what it means? More than likely, one or more people will die if they are trying to make happen. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And they don't care. They just want the ratings. They just want the money. Noodle says, the Phantom Menace has become oversaturated. I'll stay here, and if you go, I go. I have plenty of other things to involve myself. Oh, well, Nickel Doodles. Thank you, man. G-Mega says, might be a beard thing, but only Gary Van Andrade might be above Odin in watching for me. Odin on iWatch. Super says, yeah, Mark Hamill has really let me down recently. Trump derangement syndrome is a hell of a drug. Yep. Absolutely. All right, let's see. Soul Assassin says, Mark allowed his personal politics to warp his mind, and now he became the thing the Skywalker stood against. Yep. All right. Outpost Dyer says, hello there. Hello, Outpost. We're finishing up here. Megazord Jeremy says, what would you do if you saw an alien? Run, scream. Jim Maggie says, sorry, I have to go with Kate Beckinsale because reasons. Tina says, yeah, the stupid studio, whichever one it was, did advertise it as a horror movie. It's far from that. It's a mix of haunted house, murder mystery, family dynamics. See, I'm okay with that. I'm interested in that then. So now I want to see it. Super says, I don't know what's true or what's not, but the lack of Oracle Barbara Gordon in Birds of Prey movie makes me sad. Jay Stowe says, as for the movie timeline of it, I thought that they made the first one in the 80s, then more present time, 27 years later. Yeah, I don't know what it is for sure, but I really do think that there is probably some... It still makes sense. Bruce says, I think our James Bond to fight the media is Trump. Well, some people say that. He's got his own problems. He's got his own issues. Megazord Jeremy says, should they do a live action Green Lantern show that features all the various Green Lanterns as the main cast and the show is done in the vein of Star Trek? I would be down for that. Mark Martinez says, I know I'm really late to the stream, but I just wanted to say hi to everyone. I'm very busy with school recently. No problem at all, man. Hyperin, the only thing Joker's definitely going to be influencing is some fun Halloween costuming. Yeah, absolutely. Hammer says, the Shining 4K Blu-ray release today, beautifully transferred from the original negatives with the help of Steven Spielberg and Leon Vitali. Kubrick would be proud this day. Nice. Yeah, I've seen that release. I've seen that as being sold. I might try and pick one up. Aiden Vickery says, in the UK, Joker is a 15. So that means they have to be 15 or older to see it? I don't know how it works there. Algar says, I feels weird that I don't have SmackDown on my TV right now. Oh, well, at least AEW tomorrow with... Yeah, that's right. With a little bit of the bubbly. At first, I thought I was missing something tonight, but now there's no wrestling on Tuesdays, which actually works better for me with this new schedule because now I need to try... I'm going to do my best to watch some AEW tomorrow because I want to see that premiere happen. And I'm going to try and see possibly, but because of Gary's stream on Fridays, I might not be able to watch Friday Night SmackDown, but I'm definitely going to watch it back, I think. Grandma Sato says, if Disney really retcons episode 6, how bad do you believe the parks and upcoming Star Wars stuff will tank? Oh, if they retcon the original trilogy? Oh, I mean, it's already tanking, so I don't think it really do much. Harbender says, have you heard of Operation Northwoods? It's no conspiracy theory. There was declassified documents proving it. It was scrapped by JFK, was fully planned, and almost happened. It was a plan to fake the Cuban shooting down a plane of American students in order to justify declaring war on Cuba. They were going to blow up a plane by remote control. I've not heard that. Ugh. Aiden Vickery, yep, 15 or older. Okay. Well, more people get to see it in the UK than the United States. Jeremy Swig says, I don't like JJ handling Star Wars, but I don't think I would mind him doing Green Lantern. Bruce says, watch people try to block or sell Joker Halloween costumes. Oh, you know it. Especially if something happens, it's going to be so... In fact, no, because the movie's going to still be out, and so they're still going to say, oh, something could still happen. God. Jeremy Swigs, I don't like JJ's handling of Star Wars, but I don't think I would mind him doing... Okay, God. Mike Martinez says, I plan on getting The Shining on 4K at some point. It's a very good horror film from Stanley Kubrick. I agree with that one. Harbender says, if someone takes the media's bait and makes Joker-inspired shooting, the media can use it as an excuse to push for more movie censorship. Then they would gradually clamp down on that. Oh, for sure. Absolutely, man. And then Super says, luckily JJ is famous for stealing, not deleting, so I think it'll be okay. I think that's a great point. Captain Gentry says, yeah, whoever said it was right about the BBC, I'm so disappointed in what the BBC has become lately, mostly because the vast majority still think everything they report is 100% factual, and it's just not. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that people are blindly accepting these things, you know? It's amazing that people don't think for themselves. Daniel Thorne says, what would you do if your students wanted a class trip to see Joker? Well, I wouldn't take them because that has nothing to do with religion. But I would say, if you want to see it and you're old enough, that is your choice. Captain Darkstar 57, thank you for the 2 ice cream donation. And Ken Cam Park, thank you also for the ice cream donation. Whew. Oh boy. Man, crazy amount of people in the chat tonight, so thank you so much for stopping by. Please make sure you smash the like button. And before we end this thing, let me give one last shout out to you. These are the last of my September patrons, so once everyone's processed for October, the list will be updated. But for the last, possibly for the last time, because my next stream probably won't be till Saturday, and even then, family coming in town, I will keep y'all posted on that though. Huge shout out to my September patrons. Animation commentator, Baptist 702, Brian P, Dion, Edward Coleman, Elizabeth M, Enrique Evangelista, Entertainment Hacker, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Weeder Dog Clan, Harold Francis, Heather Haskett, The Hunka Chunka Funkin' Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Intertrap Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, JJ, Jonathan Jerembeck, Matthew Kadish, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin, Orange Hat Reviews, Outpost Dyer, Perpetual Punster, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Sir Lancelotto, Theodore Bendon, The DJD Show, Those Two Ball Guys, and What an ABC. Thank you so much for being my patrons. And also a huge shout out to my Subscribe-Star subscribers. A huge shout out to Drunken Welfare Man, Mr. Roy, Simply Box, History Girl, Tina B, G2 Cool 99, Darkstar 57, Laura Story, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Fan Addicts of Film, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, Filmy Professor, J. Rod the Beer Guru, Christian J. Murr, Rolando Scarfullery, Nebananji Adams, and ZK Man. Thank you very much for being awesome and amazing people. You are all of my friends, and you are all so great. Super Anime Gamer, you have a good night. Alex McCarthy, you have a good night. Hypern, you have a good night as well. I want Denis Villeneuve or Christopher Nolan to make a Green Lantern movie so bad. Super. That would be great. That would be freaking awesome. Lacey Santa says, so I'm late to the live, but did you see EVS video on Mark Hamill with his son? I have not, but someone mentioned it. I think Random Nerd of Doom mentioned it earlier in the chat. But anyway, let's also give a huge shout out to my Valkyrie, Tina and Steph. They are amazing at their job. They are amazing doing all of this. And again, they do it out of the kindness of their hearts. They keep me on track. They keep me honest. So huge shout out to them. Huge clap for them in the chat. You are freaking awesome. Don't forget you. Is this a donor? Rain. No. Not that I saw. Not for September. As I said, those are the last of my September patrons and Subscribe-Star. I will update the list once everyone gets processed, and that usually happens by the 2nd of the month. So I'll check that out. So don't worry about that. Again, if you are on the list, don't worry. The list will be updated. I think that's someone just trying to get a shout out. So anyway, you guys are freaking awesome. D-Lab people, you stick around. I'm going to do a typical chest opening for you guys for sticking around and being awesome. Everyone in the chat on YouTube, love you so much. Please smash the like button. Also, a little update on Amazon. So Amazon canceled my account with their affiliate programming because I violated terms and conditions. I went over it a little bit in the beginning of the video, and also in the video that I did earlier today on the stream. But I do now have new links in all of my videos. I was able to update the description. Just please, if you want to support the channel in any way, no, you don't need to support the channel. I can't say that apparently, which is just stupid. But let me go ahead and just delete this off of DLive real quick because that can't be there anymore. But anyway, if you do want to use my links, and some of it will go to the channel, but I can't say you can support. I don't know what I can say. This is so ridiculous. But anyway, new links in the description of the video. You guys are freaking awesome. I love you guys. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Check out those links. You will see some cool stuff. And stick around because we will be having another great stream on Saturday. And make sure you subscribe to Gary Nerdrotic's channel because over on Nerdrotic's channel, we'll be having our Friday night stream. So you guys rock. I love you guys. Have a great night. As always, God bless. Lethal Lightning? Really lethal? Really lethal? You had to come in here like that, Lethal? You had to drop in that inappropriate and offensive super chat, Lethal, after I was shouting you out earlier, talking about how good of a guy you are and how I always have your back? Man, oh man. I can't believe you, man. I can't believe you. Well, now I actually get a chance to shout out some people. So my lucky followers over on DLive, the top people that won some free Lino: Will Gentry, Dean Heiss, K-Man, Darkstar57, and Kim Cam Park. Congratulations on your free cryptocurrency Lino. You're freaking awesome. And Lethal, I'm watching you, man.